Hello, Northwest Lower Michigan Synod. I bring you greetings from Presiding Bishop Elizabeth Eaton and the Churchwide Organization staff. I'm pleased to be with you for your assembly. My name is Jodi Slattery, and I serve as the Executive for Governance at the Churchwide Organization. Let me share a little about myself. I'm a lifelong Lutheran who grew up in Iowa. I have 3 kids. Pictured here from left to right is Sam, my daughter Elizabeth, then my husband Anthony, myself, and my middle daughter Katie, and that's my immediate family. Work-related, I first started serving the church in 2005 as the communications director in the Southeastern Iowa Synod. Then I accepted a position in Washington, D.C. as the director for grassroots advocacy and communication. In 2011, I moved to Chicago to serve as the assistant to the presiding bishop for governance, which in the new design, the position is now titled the Executive for Governance. And in this position, I'm responsible for the ELCA Church Council and the Churchwide Assembly agendas. So I really appreciate the time we're spending together for your Synod's legislative meeting. And I'm grateful to share this report with you today. Together, all of you made it possible for this Synod to share $653,582 with the Churchwide Organization to support God's mission in the world. Thank you. Overall, mission support dollars shared for churchwide ministries are used to grow the ELCA in the U.S., grow the Lutheran Church and address issues around the world, and help develop current and future leaders in the ELCA. The mission support dollars that remain in the Northwest Lower Michigan Synod support the vital work that this Synod does to enhance and sustain our ministry together, such as providing pastoral care to your rostered ministers and walking alongside congregations going through the call process. Your mission support dollars breathe life to your communities and in your congregations. On behalf of the ministry stewarded by the Churchwide Organization and the Northwest Lower Michigan Synod, and on behalf of all the people whose lives are blessed through your ministries, I say thank you. More than $1.5 million of the $1.8 million raised for the COVID-19 Response Fund was given to synods who applied for grants, including the Northwest Lower Michigan Synod. It was shared in the Synod Assembly staff reports that an estimated 2,100 Michiganders each week are touched by these grants. And together across this church, we have served more than 387,000 people and funded nearly 900 ministries. One of these ministries is in Suttons Bay, Michigan, which is a neighbor to the Ottawa Native American Indian tribe. The tribal food pantry closed when the COVID-19 shutdown began, and the churches in Suttons Bay banded together and began a free lunch program for those in the community that needed help, including the tribal members. They employed a local restaurant, which had been closed by the shutdown, to make the food. And these congregations helped community members with food and helped keep a local business open during the crisis. And here's another story of how the COVID grants have made a difference in your synod. Prince of Peace in Rose City, Michigan is a small town of 1,500 people, and there's only one women's shelter in a 3-county area. They have seen an increase in homelessness and domestic abuse during COVID. Prince of Peace is supporting this much-needed ministry with funds from the COVID-19 response grant. The COVID response stories that I've heard about from your synod exemplify for me how God continues to work through you and lives out the scriptural theme for your Synod Assembly this year from Deuteronomy. Even if you are exiled to the ends of the world, from there the Lord your God will gather you, and from there he will bring you back. You are gathering in new ways and showing others the way of Jesus, so more people can experience God's grace in action. Thanks be to God. Thank you for your incredible support for ELCA World Hunger in what was an extraordinary year. Gifts from individuals and congregations in this synod were part of the effort. And in 2021, domestic hunger and Big Dream Grant partners in your synod include Peace Lutheran in Sparta and Community Encompass. It's a neighborhood development organization serving the core city neighborhoods of Muskegon. They are an ELCA World Hunger Partner Ministry through this grant, and they address food security in many ways, including providing urban gardens and food deserts. Internationally, Lutheran Disaster Response responded to disasters in 49 countries, providing 132 grants totaling over $4.9 million. 88 of these grants, totaling $2.4 million, were in response to COVID-19, reaching nearly 800,000 people around the world. And domestically, LDR responded to the pandemic by supporting 32 synods, including the Northwest Lower Michigan Synod, and 3 Lutheran social service agencies in 40 states, with grants totaling over $920,000. An additional $3 million was provided in response to other disasters that occurred in 2020 for long-term recovery efforts and community resilience programs. I'd like to highlight that on April 20th, at the Christian Community and Leadership Home Group New Starts Review Table, an application for a Synod authorized worshiping community was approved for campus ministry at Grand Valley State University. We are grateful for how we can proclaim Christ and strengthen connections in this way. Now, this is the 20th year in which the ELCA Fund for Leaders has awarded scholarships to candidates for ministry studying at ELCA seminaries, and the first ever fully virtual awards celebration. For the 2020-2021 academic year, the Fund for Leaders will be supporting 297 candidates for ministry at our ELCA seminaries, with just over $2.8 million in scholarship support. Your Synod had 3 Fund for Leaders scholarship recipients in 2020. Christopher Clark, attending Luther Seminary, Mary Hughes at Wartburg Theological Seminary, and Edward Rubel at Luther Seminary. Your Synod's international companions are Honduras, Latvia, Papua New Guinea. And the missionaries sponsored by the Synod are Dr. Stephen and Bethany Freiberg, who are serving in Tanzania as medical coordinator, and Pastor Stephen and Marta Giron, serving in Costa Rica as regional representative for Amparo. Now, during the year-long pandemic, the Mission Investment Fund provided assistance to investors who needed immediate access to their funds and to borrowers who needed flexibility with their loan payments. MIF collaborated with our ministry partner, the ELCA Federal Credit Union, to offer expedited loans for congregations, ministries, and individuals, as well as Paycheck Protection Program loans for congregations and ministries to keep employees on the payroll and continue operations. MIF work in the Northwest Lower Michigan Synod this past year included 12 MIF loans and more than $7.4 million in investments. Now, don't forget, there are 2 significant events next year. The ELCA Youth Gathering has been moved to 2022, but it is still in Minneapolis. Get information on the event now at elca.org/youthgathering. And at the Synod Assembly, you are electing voting members to attend the Churchwide Assembly in Columbus, Ohio, August 8th through the 12th. I would be remiss not to highlight how this Synod is an important partner in sharing leaders with this whole church. Thank you to Peter McKinney, who serves on the Committee on Discipline, the Reverend Christine Tim, serving on Committee on Appeals, and the Reverend Kirsten Sullivan, who serves on the ELCA Church Council. Thank you all for your faithful service to this whole church. And a special thank you to our Director of Evangelical Mission in this Synod, the Reverend David Sprang. He's been a huge help to me, especially with the distribution of the COVID-19 Response Fund grants in your Synod. And of course, Thank you to Bishop Slattery for your dedicated service to this church, and particularly for the work that you do serving on the Bishops Academy for the Conference of Bishops, and for inviting me to be a part of your Synod Assembly. It has been an honor to share this report with you on our shared ministry and to be a part of your Synod Assembly. God's blessings to you. Thank you, Northwest Lower Michigan Synod.